America is the greatest democracy in the world, and I believe in those values that we share. I have faith in the American system of justice.
So those are truly gracious remarks from Rumeysa Ozturk. You'll remember that she is the PhD student at Tufts University, studies human and child development. And back in March, she was walking to meet friends for a Ramadan dinner, stopped on the street by masked plainclothes ICE agents, and taken in unmarked cars 1,500 miles away to a Louisiana prison that human rights groups call a black hole. She suffered, I think, 12 asthma attacks, and her crime was co-authoring an anti-war op-ed in the student newspaper at Tufts. A year ago, I think a year to the date, March 2024, she co-authored this with several other students. Because she's on this international student visa, her visa's at risk. And after all this, and despite everything, she calls America the greatest democracy in the world. Let's talk a little bit about what her arrest meant for every one of us. And we'll start with that chilling video and a couple of things that really stand out to me about that video. This is in Somerville, right around the corner from the Harvard campus and across the river from Boston. It is Anywhere, USA. I lived there for a year a long time ago. I visited there a couple weeks ago. It is any of our communities. It could be Rumeysa, and the way things are going these past few months, it could be me or you or anyone. Second thing to notice about this video, who looks like the criminals? When I first saw the video, it seemed right out of those documentaries about dictators in other countries sending their secret police after their enemies. So the masked people in this video are the ICE agents. Why are they wearing masks? I'm going to play a little more of the video because look and listen closely. There are people walking by. Some are doing nothing. I bet a couple of them noticed something was going on. And if you've heard of this concept of bystander non-intervention, it can happen for different reasons. Some people don't think it's their business to get involved. Others may not act because they assume someone else will. I'm going to play a little more of the video because there's an example of someone who doesn't do that and actually does intervene.
Where the police? Where the police? Yeah, you don't look like it. Why are you hiding your faces? Why are you hiding your faces?
So they say, we're the police, and then someone behind the camera, I guess, says, well, you don't look like it. Why are you hiding your faces? Think about if this was you. You weren't Rumeysa. You weren't the one being arrested, but you were the one walking by or jogging by, walking your dog up in the window on that street before the lawyers and the courts and everyone get involved in the situation that she is now in. Just when it's happening real time, what would you do if this wasn't necessarily happening to you, but you saw it happen? Because I think the answer to that's going to be really important for upcoming months and years. In this case, someone tried. And that's important. Let's take a look at what one of Rumeysa's lawyers described her telling him about her experience being transported from Massachusetts to the detention center in Louisiana and what one of the ICE agents said to her.
When she was taken by ICE from her campus at Tufts, in the video that I'm sure you've all seen, and she was whisked across state lines by men in plain clothes in an unmarked van. One of these men turned to her and he said, "We are not monsters." He said, "We're just doing as we're told."
We're not monsters. We're just doing what we're told. And that's a little scary. I don't think that the vast majority of ICE agents are monsters. But where have we heard this throughout history? People just doing their jobs, being told to do something, not questioning what they're doing. So the person who said this to Rumeysa, maybe they had a conscience, and it's a good sign. But I would hope and trust that there are at least many ICE agents who would place their oaths to the American people and to the Constitution above what could become increasingly following unjust orders. Now, here is another member of Rumeysa's large legal team. She has quite a few lawyers, understandably, talking about what happened that got her arrested in the first place.
Being detained for 6 weeks for writing an op-ed in your school newspaper is a constitutional horror story. And as the court said today, her detention cannot stand.
Constitutional horror story, writing an op-ed in a student newspaper that, in fact, she wrote a year ago. and she co-authored. So let's look at what was in this offending op-ed. On March 4th, the Tufts Community Union Senate passed 3 out of 4 resolutions demanding the university acknowledge the Palestinian genocide, apologize for University President Sunil Kumar's statements, disclose its investments, and divest from companies with direct or indirect ties to Israel. These resolutions were the product of meaningful debate by the Senate and represent a sincere effort to hold Israel accountable for clear violations of international law. Unfortunately, the university's response to the Senate resolutions has been wholly inadequate and dismissive of the Senate, the collective voice of the student body, caused us to question whether the university is indeed taking a stand against its own declared commitments to free speech, assembly, and democratic expression. This collective student voice is not without precedent. Today, the university may remember with pride its decision in February 1989 to divest from South Africa under apartheid and end its complicity with the then racist regime. James Baldwin once wrote, "The paradox of education is precisely this, that as one begins to become conscious, one begins to examine the society in which they are being educated. As an educator, President Kumar should embrace efforts by students to evaluate diverse and sometimes contradictory ideas and opinions. We urge President Kumar and the Tufts administration to meaningfully engage with and actualize the resolutions passed by the Senate." Those are the words that got Rumeysa kidnapped off the streets of Somerville, Massachusetts back in March by federal ICE agents, sent to a black hole prison in Louisiana 1,500 miles away, detained for more than 6 weeks. Her case continues. I'll just leave you here in the meantime with some more of Rumeysa's remarks when she was released.
Thank you, everyone, for all your support and love. In the last 45 days, I lost both my freedom and also my education during a crucial time for my doctoral studies. I am so excited to get back to my studies, community, friends, professors, and my students. My dear professor and lab mates are here today, so I just want to highlight that and thank you. Thank to them. So with my incredibly talented lawyers team, Jesse, Massa, and many more, I will continue my case in the courts. I came to United States to pursue my graduate studies, learn and grow as a scholar, and also to contribute to child development fields with my teaching, research, and applied work. America is the greatest democracy in the world, and I believe in those values that we share. I have faith in the American system of justice. This has been a very difficult time for me, for my community at Tufts, at Turkey, but I'm so grateful for all the support, kindness, and care. My advisor sent me my dissertation proposal to the prison. My lab mates have been reading me books on the phone that are very old. And my department professor students have sent me so many letters of support, so much love and comforting words. My union organized on behalf of me and other international students with so much effort, love, and care. I had so many lovely people sending me letters, comforting words again. So thank you all. And finally, I will also remind one more time, please don't forget about all these wonderful women in the immigration detention systems. I was so tired of witnessing cries and pain that can be all preventable. Thank you.